All right, so what are you guys working on, like, mainly?
She's human-dog reactive. So just kind of, we can get her to a stage now where we can get her passing people and dogs fairly okay, but it's just closing that gap a bit, and obviously you get the odd dog or whoever running over and she'll just lose it. So in those situations, I suppose just having a bit more control and, yeah, do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eye contact is a huge trigger for her, and she seeks it out as well, so it's like she'll be staring at people and we'll try and get her to look back, but she's stuck on it.
And if they then you make the eye contact, she can then become reactive quite quickly.
Yeah, and she's quicker to come down now than she used to be.
Good.
And she is good. Like, she's e-collar trained for recall only. We've not learnt to use it yet for reactivity or anything. So maybe that's something we'd be interested in learning.
Yeah. So like e-collar for discouraging behaviors instead
If you think that that's something that would be right, yeah, we're open to anything really.
Cool.
But yeah, just working on that stuff, really improving it. Yeah.
Okay. So we would say like human and dog reactivity.
Yeah.
Some problems with off-leash dogs running around a bit, and then kind of introducing the e-collar and sharpening those tools up.
That is, the proximity gets closer, she obviously struggles more. So yeah, in those situations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you just say like thresholds and stuff.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
She's just generally very nervous.
How old is she?
She'll be 3 in January, so she's her litter were dumped at 3 weeks without their mum, and basically from day one she's terrible with children.
Sure.
So yeah, she's got, I don't know if there's some inbuilt things going on there, but it's very, very insecure, nervous.
Okay.
She doesn't look it, but you take one more step forward and she'd freak out probably.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's
And
it.
if anything comes up, just let me know. But and that's the thing, is like you guys don't have to, like, we're gonna, like, when you're out, it's me and you.
Yeah.
It's literally like it's one-on-one.
Okay.
So anything that comes up in the future, you just.
Because there will be things. It's just a bit
Yeah. And I always tell people tonight, like, what normally happens is I get an email like, I forgot. Just write it down. Like, that's what I do here.
Yeah.
Just write it down, and tomorrow or the next day we'll work on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So dog reactivity, right?
Yeah, dog and people. Yeah.
Okay. No.
She's having enough.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's all right. Calm down.
Good. Okay. So dog and people reactivity. You have thresholds, right? So if somebody gets close enough, that's when we react.
With the eye contact, I suppose you could come up, and as long as you're not kind of trying to
engage.
Yeah, then she's all right.
Okay.
But it's the eye contact's a really big thing with dogs as well. Yeah.
Right. And she's named after the famous wrestler.
Yeah, that's Mike's doing.
Cena! All right, cool. Well done. Okay. So we're working on e-collar introduction, reactivity to people, and thresholds, etc.
Yeah.
Right?
So we use the e-collar for recall successfully, so she can be off leash.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just never. The trainer we have is not comfortable kind of using it for reactivity at the moment.
Sure.
So
yeah. No worries.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So right now that's like a head halty type thing?
Yeah.
How's it working for you?
It's good. Like, what we like about it is where if there's a moment where an off-leash dog comes over, it does close around her mouth, so it means she doesn't have to wear a muzzle, and we can kind of control her much better than a flat thing.
Creative.
Yeah.
See, that's new to me. That right there. I don't know if you guys caught that. I mean, that's like to be able to give a dog pressure and shut their mouth in a case of an emergency without having to muzzle them constantly. I've never thought of that or heard of that. So I will tell you when I learn something new, important, because if I learn something new after the years of doing this, that's probably something that you guys should also be, whoa, that's different. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, so yeah, no, it works a lot better for us than a flat collar or a slip leash, because if something, she's also got high prey drive, so if she really wants to go for something, the slip leash, it ends up being tugging rather than a correction. So
we don't have them like that in the States.
Are they just like halty?
So the head halties that we typically use don't have the slip in the back. It's just a fixed.
Yeah.
Because does anybody? Well, this may be a trick question, but I'll just say one of the main reasons why the head halties do really good with dogs is because there's pressure points there. There's a pressure point here. There's a pressure point here. So when applying that pressure, it just kind of like horsemanship. You apply this pressure, and the animal will kind of work with you a bit easier with more fluidity. So. But yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so you use, what e-collar do you use?
I brought it in. It's the pack one. Can you just I don't want to.
I brought mine too if you guys want to check it out. I did bring this fresh off the press. Yeah. These babies just came out. I'm really excited about those. So we'll play around with those in a bit.
So it's a good, we just bought it recently. It's a good unit.
Okay.
So it's got a beep and vibration and stimulation. So she responds 90% of the time to the beep because we conditioned her that if you hear the beep, then the stimulation's coming.
Right.
Coming after. So unless she's like mid-chase of a squirrel, you know, she'll come back to a beep. She's fine.
Good. So does it just have 2 levels?
No, so that's like a one-off. Yeah.
I see.
That's the one-off. That if you hold it down, it'll
Right, so
stay
it's
on.
a nick and continuous essentially, and
Yeah.
then this is your levels.
Yeah, and so she's just above a 1.
Do you know what levels you're at when you go, or you just kind of estimate?
Yeah, there's like little markers. We didn't really like this about it, but can you see the little lines?
Oh, yeah.
So she's just above a 1.
Okay.
On a 1, she doesn't feel it. Too high above a 1, she sort of yelps.
Correct.
So it's just in the middle.
Okay.
But it does slip, so it's a bit.
Yeah. It's a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool.
Good girl.
Okay, got it. So right now you're for the reactivity, you're just using that setup there.
Yeah, and one thing I sort of meant to say yesterday is we're not sure how, because with the e-collar, I think it might be better because short of sort of really giving this a good yank, and I don't know how that affects them if it does or whatnot. I don't know how much pressure to do with this for a correction. Versus with that, she might just hear the beep and kind of be like, all right, yeah, okay, disengage. So I don't know. I feel like we'd never correct this hard enough, and I'm too scared to push it. So it'd be interesting to see what you think about how hard we should do.
Yeah.
Do that.
So the e-collar conditioning with the basically the audible, so the verbal, or not the verbal, but the audible. So it's a beep, right? Can you just do it?
Yeah. I'll just switch it on.
So talking about what we're talking about is if you're using the e-collar so the way that I like to use the e-collar is it basically is an extension of me. I don't particularly use it for one thing, because if you start using it for that one thing like the recall, that it can conflict the behavior you've normally done with them, like the recall, right? So if she starts to react and then she hears the beep, she's like, all right, here. Why do I, so they might get a little conflicted about what the heck. And then sometimes you could also kind of tinge your recall after that because they feel that and they're like, so it's good, but.
So it's that one, so it comes out there.
Okay, and then the stimulation is the.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I always like to just feel the stimulation.
Check what thing it's on. I'm
Yeah,
not sure. Okay. Whipped it right up.
No. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to go into e-collar stuff, which I think is going to be valuable. So whenever introduced, does anybody not know what a remote collar is or familiar with how it works? I was hoping maybe 1 or 2 people know. Everyone kind of knows what it is. Nobody? Okay. Somebody just raise their hand anyway. Just for my, oh yeah, cool. All right, so let me talk about it. So the e-collar, when you introduce it, should always be, okay, let me explain. There's 2 different ways that I typically will introduce the remote collar. Now again, dog training is in my opinion, very art formish. It's very creative. It's very on the fly. It's very fluidity. It's very, I'm working with it and I'm changing gears. That's the way I work with dogs. I'm constantly evolving and switching gears up and going high and going low and trying to figure out what works best. So when I say this, I'm being responsible to tell you guys that, no, this is the way no, this is the way I do it. And it's been very successful. And if it wasn't successful, I would teach in a different way, right? So if I was like, this isn't really working, I wouldn't be teaching you guys that pay me money to learn. And I wouldn't be teaching the dog trainers that I certified to learn all this stuff. I would be switching gears immediately. I'm really, really, really big on whatever works, right? So typically with the remote collar, when you're introducing it, unless it's going to be one of 2 things. It's either going to be introduced as a conditioning unit where it's an extension of you. So every time the dog feels the remote, they know what to do, and they also know where it's coming from. That's the most important thing with the remote collar. The other way that I'll introduce it is an intervention stage. I talk about this a lot in my podcast. The intervention stage is essentially a dog coming in that needs an intervention, right? They are actually actively trying to hurt somebody or hurt somebody else. And of course, in the dog world, we know that if they succeed at doing that, they could die. So we intervene because we care. So essentially, and this will drive people crazy mad, I will correct the dog and punish them because I love them. Ooh, that's crazy, right? So it's kind of like positive punishment for some people. It just doesn't fit, but it makes sense because those are the two ways that I'll introduce the remote collar. Conditioning, which is 9 times out of 10 what we do. This is what this is, this is what this is, this is what this is. But if you get a dog that is just going crazy and you have a handler that can't control the dog, or the dog just doesn't care about leash corrections, or the dog will redirect on the leash, so it's dangerous because they're going to have a go at your leg and it's going to be a mess. The e-collar gives you that ability to sustainably correct, punish, give a dog pressure, whatever you want to call it, for half a mile to a mile away. So those are the two ways that I introduce it. Now, when I introduce it on my one, which we're not going to have time during this particular portion, but we're going to be hanging out after a bit and then tomorrow a bit too, and we can mess around with some e-collars. But on my remote collar, you can't feel your one on your wrist. You can't feel the one on your face. You typically can't feel anything on your face with the Dogtras until about 6-ish. That's really where we condition dogs on. So this stimulation is I can feel immediately on a 1, which isn't a bad thing. Everybody has their own ways of doing it. But again, I try to give the dog the least amount of aversives in any way. And aversives aren't bad. It's definitely marketed and pushed, and propaganda is aversives and stress is terrible for dogs, but so is a lot of other things that are actually really great for us. So when I'm using this, I can feel this. So when you put it on your wrist, you can feel it. This isn't kind of important stuff, especially here in the UK. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about that? And again, remember I said earlier, I'm like, you guys can't ask questions until I'm ready, and now I'm like, okay, ask your questions. Told you. So I just wanted to point that out, that those are the two ways that I typically will introduce the remote collar. It's very important to know that because oftentimes people will assume that this is a shock collar and this is going to hurt the dog and this is going to stress the dog out and it's going to cause lifelong disabilities to your dog's learning abilities. And if you do it wrong, it certainly can, for sure, right? But Abby could also take that camera and bash me over the head with it, but I'm going to yell at her for doing that because that's not how you're supposed to use it, right? That's her problem, not mine, not the camera's. So I'm going to give this back to you. So really what the question is can we use or how do we use the remote collar to correct or give pressure to a dog for reactivity, right?
Yes, that's the question. Yes.
Are you paying attention?
Yes, sorry, I was like,
So the answer is always like, of course. And again, you could come in and say, I want to train my dog with a water balloon. I'd be like, all right, let's figure out how we can do this. So my job is to direct accordingly. So you just have to be careful and mindful of the recall you've already done. Because right now the remote collar stimulation typically is a correction for non-compliance on the recall because it's sound, right, the audible, and then it's the stimulation if we don't comply, right, if we don't engage, right? So when you do that, is it pretty quick unless there's a distraction?
Yeah, even then with squirrels, so when we'll do the beep and we'll say leave it followed by come. So we'll say Cena, leave it, come. And most of the time, even without a beep, she'll do it, but we can't run the risk of her not doing it. So then up it again, the beep will kind of reinforce it. We maybe use the stimulation once every other day, like that's, it's not often.
Just a quick little hey.
Yeah, like we're here.
So you can, so you can use that for the correction, for sure, because it's fair.
Yeah.
But again, you have to make sure that you're using some sort of verbal before that.
Yeah.
So with the audible on the recall, it's hey, you hear the beep, you're supposed to come back. If you don't, you get pressure. So you want to basically do the same. It's like positive reinforcement. We want to say sit, and the dog goes, oh cool, I know what that is. Bang, they sit and they get paid. So on the other end of the spectrum, it's very similar to say leave it, and if they don't comply, then they get a different type of pressure. It's just some of the science of the 4 quadrants of. I know science is a weird thing to talk about when you're talking about balanced dog training, but it certainly is science proven over and over and time again. And so you can certainly use it if it works. The pager now, the vibrate on that. Mm-hmm. Can I feel that?
Yeah, we've not actually used it. I think you do it by. Maybe that's it, or is that just switched on?
Can you just hand me this? I don't want her to.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. So you think it's just one of the.
I think you basically hold one of the buttons. Yeah. It is it. Oh, she thinks it also sounds like a laser.
Yeah.
that you
okay,
like to
yeah, I
chase.
don't feel it, and I don't know how to do it, but
Mike, could you just check in the instructions? We've only just got it.
no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So what I was going to get into is just really quick. I'll show you with this. So I often talk about the Dogtra 280C pager, right? So that's the vibrate. It's all it is vibrate. It's literally. I'll show you. It sounds like this. So if you guys can hear this. Okay, you can hear that? It's a vibrate. It's like your cell phone, really. That's what it is. So, what?
No, I was just saying
What-
that hates that.
Oh, yeah.
When he hears a phone vibrate, also he'll get up and leave.
Oh, you're about to be on a call, right? So my point is this is, again, I'm really, really big on what works with your dog and what you're comfortable with and what the dog progresses with. I think that that's huge, right? I mean, what else is there in value of, it works so good and it's so progressional for my dog. Why would we do anything else? So the pager is a great discouragement and what I would call it basically deactivates the reactivity. So if the dog is reacting and we go, and they go, what the heck? But we're basically marking it too verbally with a leave it. So when we talk about verbal cues or markers or whatever you guys want to call them, you'll ask the dog to do something, and if they don't, there's a reinforcer technically right behind it, right? So with this, it's the sound, the beep, and then if she doesn't, then pressure turns on. It's not necessarily like completely and I put a video out with a Doberman recently about what a correction looks like on an e-collar, which I've never really done before because I don't try to feed anything to the wolves to take out of context, but I did, and it's a really easy example of just the dog shaking her head and coming right back. There's no yipping, there's no crying, there's no panting, there's no screaming, there's not really any stress. The dog says, that's a little uncomfortable, I'll come back. No worries. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? So that was on the stimulation. The vibrate, on the contrary of popular belief, and we can kind of pass this around like a great like school here in a little bit, but the vibrate is going to be far more aversive than the stimulation by a biggest long shot ever. That's hard for some people to understand because the shock collar for so long, especially in the media, has been, holy crap, this is crazy, the dog's going to jump through the roof and smoke down, right? No, and we'll go over that in a bit, but so you can use the pager, but you have to, or the stimulation, you have to mark it.
Yeah.
So if you say, do you usually say leave it?
Yeah, she's chasing now.
Okay, so it would be leave it and then the correction.
Yeah.
But, this is a quick test. Does anybody want to maybe throw out what we would try to do in conjunction and or right before that?
Real engagement.
Yes, engagement. And then what else did we just talk about with bear, right? So counter conditioning too. But this is realistic, and I understand that if your dog is reactive to another person or another dog, there's a great chance they're going to say heel and they're going to flip you off and say, no, I'm going after this thing, right? So that's where then the punishment will come in and say, hey, what am I, chopped liver? I don't understand. I just asked you to do something you know well, and you just blew me off. That's not good because your life depends on it, and that's not fair. If I don't step up, you step up, and I step down. And you don't want your dog driving the ship there. That's not a good idea.
She says, I
Yeah,
like to.
yeah.
Come on.
Cena, okay. So the answer is yes. Just make sure that you mark it.
Yeah.
We will work on it once we start getting some other dogs out.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's just see how your healing is first. So again, we're going to try to counter it with some. And again, I want to say this is a bit unrealistic for dogs that are really reactive. But for the dog trainers out there, doing basic counter conditioning for reactivity, giving a dog an alternative to do something else is a great option. Because you're like, hey, let's do this instead. They're like, oh, I know what that is. Cool, because I didn't want to bark anyway. I don't really know what I'm doing. Some dogs will just maliciously just bark off because they don't know what else to do. Right? We've seen those dogs. So
Yep.
just do a little bit of obedience
Cena
just so I know where you're at.
Cena heel.
She's like, what is all this going on here?
Cena heel. Just put Dad's over there. Come on. Good girl. Cena heel.
Good.
Good girl. Cena heel. Come on.
So what you want to try to do is when you turn,
Yeah.
try to see if she'll turn with you without the leash.
Yeah. I think that, yeah. Come on. Right, let's
Distracting,
go.
I know. But hey, look, this
Come.
is, you know, this is as realistic as it gets with distractions. I mean, this isn't going to happen again with the lights and everything.
No, yeah.
The people.
So heel, and then, yes, good
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
Come on then.
Yeah, there you
Good
go.
girl.
Turn again.
Cena, heel. Yes, good
Good,
girl.
yeah, good
Come on then.
decision. Good, good. You see
Good,
the tail
good.
light to the body change, guys? Much different.
Okay.
So if you try to, you can carry on with this.
Okay.
But if you do that positive reinforcement,
Heel.
really just let the dog know, hey, you're doing great.
Heel.
You see
Come
the
on
immediate
then.
body change.
Yeah.
And again, I know that it's difficult to say, hey, don't care about everybody that's watching you,
Come
like, and the two cameras and the,
Come
you know, like, I get that. But
Come on.
you want to try to be as positive as possible. To really just,
Come.
yep.
Yes, good girl.
Yeah,
Come on
there
then.
you go. Good. And when you turn,
Heel.
just tap your side a bit. Yeah, and then just, yeah.
Yay, good girl. Come on then.
Good.
Yeah.
Turn again.
Heel.
Good.
Yes, good girl. Come on then.
And then stop and sit.
Cena, sit.
Good.
Good
Okay.
sit.
Cool. Very good.
Good
So the
girl.
only,
Right.
yeah, good. The only thing I would say is just, you see that hang time that we have when we turn, the dog's kind of hanging out? Be empathetic a bit. Like, let the dog make a good decision to say, yeah, okay. Because you want to empower the dog to make better decisions because ultimately it creates confidence. If you're like, hey, do this, and you're like, yeah, but okay, fine, I'll do it. You're like, yay! It's like a video game. It's like ting, point for you, ting, point for you, ting, point for you, and you're just constantly building that points to develop confidence because
She lacks it a lot, which
Exactly.
is the nerves and everything.
which is why the reactivity
Go and
then
sniff.
happens.
Have a sniff.
Because of the treat back here. So anyway, that was really good. But what you want to do is make sure that when you have that hang time, give them that hang time.
Okay.
Don't, and not necessarily you, because you did well. I'm just saying in general. But when a dog has that hang time, that gives them the opportunity to have the cognitive ability to turn and make a decision. If we're constantly picking and like, hey, bang, hey, bang, hey, bang, hey, bang, they're like, well, I'm going to damned if you do, damned if you don't, because I'm going to get corrected either way, and now I'm frustrated, and now I'm going to be more reactive. So on a very minor level, when you turn and you say, hey, how about we go this way? And they're like, boom, yes, paying. Because you got to think like, unless we bring out like a French ring or a competitive dog like Lakota or one of my personal dogs that comes out and they're just so expected to do certain things. You can't expect a dog that doesn't have that to do it. So the confidence, so I'm always micro macro. That's probably my biggest word ever, micro macro, which is little big, which means if we have a reactive dog, sometimes it's handler oriented, sometimes it's confident, sometimes it's genetic, sometimes they're just freaking bored, right? But building confidence when you come out and you say, so it's just like kids. It's like, I want you to do something new, and then if they do it, woohoo, you did it, and they're like, hell yeah, this is great, right? And you're like, hey, how about you do this? They're like, yeah, woo, and they're like, this is really building for me. This is building confidence in every aspect. And so if you can ask a dog to do something very small and then pay them royally for it, your relationship and your engagement will start to get better, and they're going to be happier to work for you. So then what ultimately ends up happening is the whole world around them is less interesting because it's an inside job between you and your dog. You're like, hey, let's work, and that's engagement. Like you can get certain dogs that have insane engagement, border collies, Dutch shepherds, Malinois, some German shepherds, and some mutts too. They're just like, what do you want me to do? Nothing else around. Like if I brought, I'm saying just because I know her, because she's my dog, but if I brought Lakota out here, the only thing she'd care about is finding this tug here, or whatever she would want in here. She wouldn't care about any, but she wouldn't care about this dog. Nothing around. Just like, can we play? Can we play? Can we play? So, anyway.
She's much,
That was good.
so she'll do anything for the frisbee. That kind of
Yes.
thing. She'll work
What
all
about
day.
a ball?
Ball, not maybe a bit, yeah, but she loves tug
So when
as
you
well.
come in,
Come on, Mrs.
when you come in here, see if she likes that. When you come in next time, bring the frisbee. But I'm really big on engagement with items. So like I call them external items because it's more relationship building, right? They eat food, it's gone, it's over. If you play tug with a dog like this, look, I don't have to tell you. It's just so much more engaging between the handler and the dog, and it's really lovely. Good. So now just drop it. Yeah, there. She regrips, and then just ask her to kind of bring it back to you. So just walk backwards a bit. Yeah, and just bring. Yeah, there you go. Good. So see how involved that is with each other. And if you can develop an obsession with an item such as a ball or a tug, again, everything around you disappears, right? It's kind of like last night after we all met. I had a beer in front of me, everything around me disappeared, right? So it's like that with dogs, especially if you have a dog that has a drive. Like this dog here clearly has drive, and I'd be sinking my teeth so far into that drive to just upset. Like and this may not be applicable here, or you might not know what it is, but like when we train personal protection dogs in the States, like executive protection dogs or military or police dogs, we agitate the absolute hell out of them in the beginning to say obsess, 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 and then when they get it, they crush it, right? And then we put it away, and they never see it again until it's time to work again. They're obsessed with it. So when you bring a ball out, again, like with Lakota, she would just walk around and just wait for me to release her to it. Nothing else would matter. That's not every dog, though. It's her breed, right? She has a KMPV line, and she's just obsessed. It's good and bad. Yeah.
But Tom, how is it now if the dog is reactive?
Yeah.
And I offer him treats, but he doesn't respond to the treats? Is it the wrong thing I'm feeding him, or is it just his basic instinct that takes over and he's not to get out unless I correct him with a vibration?
Well, the answer is, did it work? And if it's no, then it's not the right thing.
Yeah, no.
Maybe you did it wrong.
Okay.
It's big. It's simple, right? I mean, I try to make my information and my content for you guys on the interwebs to be digestible. I'm not going to talk about things you may not understand, and so the answer is if it doesn't work, then you move
obviously.
on. But I think and again, I know the real question here is should I just correct if they're not interested in motivation? And I think, again, you have to, I'm just really big on fairness. Like, is it going to be fair for the dog? Is it going to be, like, if another dog is yip-yapping here and your dog starts to react, I'm not going to correct my dog. I just won't. That's crazy. I'm just going to try to run away like I can and just, tell off the owners or whatever, right? So there's certain scenarios where if we're hanging out here and another dog is there and then all of a sudden Bear reacts, you're, whoa, inappropriate, not acceptable. Discouragement. We don't want that to ever happen again. Yeah, so we talk about, I recently had a conversation with a colleague about the difference between punishment and corrections, and it's like, it gets very tedious, but it's really just adding pressure to an equation, like positive reinforcement, right? Positive reinforcement, encourage, corrections, discourage. Yeah.
I did correct him on these times, but then even afterwards, he's still so agitated and nervous that he won't even take the treat. So he's still, I can tell his mind is still super focused on the other dog until we've gone, and then he's trying to run away. So as soon as he can't see the other dog anymore, I think he's even afraid maybe. He's just, let me get out of here.
Yeah,
and he won't.
But again, that's like where your obedience comes in, or something like that, because the dogs go, what do I do, what do I do? Like if somebody comes to the door and you have a reactive dog, what do I do, what do I do? There's somebody here, somebody's here, fire, send the alarms off, what do we do, what do we do? They're here, do I jump, do I bark, do I nip, do I growl, what do I do? You say, hey, go place, oh I know that, okay, boom, down, okay, boom, stay, got it. That's what you do. You give the dog a job, because if you let them be a dog and they're technically doing their job, right? But if you give them an alternative to say, hey, I don't want you to really be stressed, this isn't beneficial for you, I want you to go lay down instead, okay, great. But there's the problem with that is you have to build up to that. It's not as simple as that, right? That'd be really nice if it was just like, oh yeah, go tell your dog to lay down. Wouldn't that be lovely? We wouldn't have jobs if that was that easy, right? Yeah. It doesn't work like that. So again, I talk about this often. My dog has this problem, my dog has this behavioral problem, my dog is barking, lunging, growling, blah, blah, blah. How much have you worked on leave it? My dog is pulling on the leash terribly. How much time have you spent on heel? Well, okay. It's really basic stuff. So yeah, we'll get into that at the point. So obviously we love the tug.
Love the tug.
So that's good. It's a Herm Sprenger tug. It's really made to German quality. That's good. But a lot of people don't realize that Herm Sprenger makes a ton of really awesome dog training stuff, not just the prong collar, right? So when you come, let's do a little bit of engagement with this. So I'm assuming, do you have an out or no?
Like a leave it.
Yeah. So let's apply that a bit.
Leave it.
Oh, good. Yeah.
We work a lot on leave it.
That's good. So when you break her back out, do you say anything?
No, and this, what you were saying about the break before,
Yeah.
it's definitely, because we've been really mindful of, we need to remember to
Right.
break her with things.
Yeah. So break her out. Like,
So,
or you can
leave
you
it.
can yeah. So
So you
here,
go.
yeah.
And
So
then,
when you're ready for this, I would just hold it down a bit.
okay.
Good, because you want things neutral. Okay. This is what everyone does when they have a toy or they have food, right? So say say this is the toy and we're working with the dog, right? This is what everyone does. This. And then the dog is like jumping up like this, and now we're correcting the dog for jumping, and it's just this chaotic mess. You want to keep this as neutral as possible, right? So when I'm healing with the dog, I'm like this, and the dog is just perfectly right here, and they're healing nicely, and I stop, and I back up, and do all this fancy stuff, and then I even do this a little bit, do this a little bit, yes, back, and then they get it.
She knows.
That's just my information
Yeah.
on that. Is keep this neutral, because you want the tug game to be an obedience game too. It's not a keep away. That's why you say, oh, like playing tug with your dog can make your dog aggressive. It can if you just make them possess it and have resource guarding issues with it. Don't play this game, because then they're going to want to possess. So a lot of people say, my dog doesn't bring stuff back, I can't play fetch with my dog. But when the dog brings the stuff back, they rip it out of their mouth and they hold it up here and they sit down, stay, wait. Why would they bring it back? Yeah.
I have a Kelly Carson's play tug, obsessed with playing tug, used to obedience, knows his break command, knows leave it. But if I have a toy that I can't hide and it's in neutral, he'll walk in a close when I've not asked him to continuously for however long I've got that toy out. If he knows he's leave it, and if he knows break and we'll stop working and this is here, how can you switch that so that if I've got the toy by my side, he's not doing what he's been taught to do? Because I've always walked in a close with the toy, either this hand or this hand. So now it's sort of become like a neutral. He thinks he's supposed to be close to get me.
So you're saying like he only will heal when you have it?
No, he'll heal without it, but if I have a toy in my hand and I have it in neutral, he will always just come beside me and walk beside me continuously, even when I've said leave it and break, we're not working anymore.
Yeah,
He doesn't understand neutral. That neutral toy to him is be by his side.
So you think the tug represents the heel? Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just diversify obedience cues with him, different behaviors. So I would ask him to sit and I'd pay him. I'd ask him to stay and then I'd pay him. And he might go, oh, this is a different picture. We usually do this. And you break it up.
Oh no, I've done all that with him. So the tug's using loads of different ways, but because he's so desperate to get it back again, he won't leave it in neutral. He's trying to work for it continuously if I can't hide it. So sometimes, for example, which is disgusting, I'll give him it and he might drop it and wee on it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put it back in my pocket,
Right.
but I got it out and
Right.
he won't disengage off of it again.
Yeah.
He knows to leave it, but he spent his whole time staring at it, waiting for me to ask him to do something else.
But that's pretty normal, and I wouldn't necessarily worry about that too much unless it's becoming a huge problem, because he's basically saying, hey, I'll do anything for that. And I wouldn't.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, it's really great. So you can create more calmness about it, more impulse control about it. And I would put him away from you. I would send him to a place, throw it down. Because right now he's stuck here with the tug, and he's like, okay, I'll do this. And you're like, I don't really care if you do that. Just like, let me be neutral a bit. And he's like, no, I'll do this. I swear, I'll do it. And you're like, I didn't even ask you to do it, right? He's like, oh, I'll do it.
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly what.
So what I would do is just push him away from you and say, hey, why don't you just go stay over there and you throw the tug down, you go over here and you do whatever you do, and then release him to it and just break it up a bit more. But you have to push him away, my point.
Yeah.
If you have it here, he's going to be here. You have to actually push him away in a place command. But you teach him that externally. You teach him the place before that.
Yeah.
Because, okay, here we go.
She's happier when she's had a
So
break.
we'll use this from now on.
Yeah.
This is good. Good.
Yeah, no,
You're
it's...
good about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
play is a really powerful thing. She's probably more, she's trace driven, so treats work, but I think if it's something
The
like...
tug is going to be more engaging.
Yeah, definitely.
Because again, like the food is like you give a dog food and then they immediately could do this.
Yeah.
But if you give them tug, or the obsession game, where you're just walking around and they're just like beep, beep, like a beacon, they're just on you. You can do anything you want and then release it, and then everything else around you just blurs out.
Yeah.
If you can create that.
Yeah, she'd be good in the park and everything. You know, she can run past dogs as long as we've got a tug or a frisbee, whatever. It's if we're walking down the street and there's a dog there, is it right to use it as a distraction to stop them?
Does it work?
Yeah, but it's not maybe teaching her to listen when we say leave
Right.
it.
So you want to, it's a good question. There's a difference between bribery and engagement and obedience, right? So let me give you an example of what that would look like with her, and then we'll put her up. So if you have your tug out like this, right, and you're walking past the dog, and you might put her into a heel, and you might rattle this around a bit, kind of like that's why I do like a lot of audibles when I play dogs, like Like I make like this, like when I get a tug out like this, that means the dog is like, ooh, I know what that noise is. Where are we going, right? So I'll do this audible to get the dog engaged with me. So if I have my dog out and from a puppy, I would use a little dish rag and I like this, and she's like, yeah, she loves that. So anyway, so what I would do is make a bit of noise and put the dog into a heel, and I maybe toss this around a bit. Oh, what are you doing with that? You pass the dog, then you pay the dog. What you wouldn't want to do is, hey, look here, look here. That's not fixing the problem. That's like putting blinders on the dog and walking by.
Yeah.
So what you would do is you would say heel. If the dog heels good, yes, great, pay.
Okay.
But you have to work on that.
Yeah.
So you could use it in a sense of, and focus command is nice too. So if you ask a dog to focus, but again, it's realistic. So we can get a dog to focus on us all day long. They're looking at us, they love it, and then a dog comes around, nope. I say, okay, well now what you do? And that's why I think it's important, not only as a dog owner, but as a dog trainer too, to have literally tools in your toolbox so you can grab a bunch of different things at any time and say, okay, this isn't working, we gotta switch gears.
Yeah.
There's some people who have like, okay, tool 1 and tool 2, and if it doesn't work for this dog, I don't know what to tell you, right? And that's kind of sad to think about, but anyway. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, very much.
So you're going to be using it, same thing like you were talking about too, is you would practice what that picture looks like.
Yeah.
So out of context of another dog, you would say heel or whatever, and you would get the dog and you do some engagement. You could do a separate, compartmentalize it with another behavior like a focus or a look.
Yeah, she does look, yeah.
Perfect. So you would do this look and you would build out your duration. I call it the 3Ds. Does anybody know the 3Ds? I talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Do you?
Distance, duration, distraction.
Wow, good. Yeah.
I watched the video.
Gold star. Good. Yeah, so the distance, distraction, and duration are the 3Ds. Any obedience that you do with your dog, that's what I try to tell people. You can build out with your distance of how far you're either putting him into a sit-stay or how far you're heeling, the distraction that's going on around you, and then the duration of how long you're doing it. With those 3Ds, you can accomplish anything in the world with proper handling. So you ask the dog to heel, and say you added one little distraction over here, there's something going on, you pass it, you're like, wow, that was great, bang, you pay the dog.
Yeah.
And you just keep building that out.
Yeah.
And so that's what the expectation would be. And I've even trained certain dogs that have a lot of drive. When they see another dog, they look at me.
Yeah.
They're conditioned to say, there's a dog, which means you're going to ask me to do something, we're going to play. That's lovely, that's really what you want. So that's what you would do.
Yeah, we do like a see it, so we'll say you can see it, but then it's like, okay, now look, and then we do a thing.
And you would always do that out of context of the other dog, as much as you can, so you don't drive in like, because some dog owners, this is like a big thing, dog owners will literally say like, when they see another dog, heel, 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 it's like, beep, 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 alarm, alert, alert. And then the dog's like, okay, where are they, right? That's not good, you don't want to do that, right? You want to always basically shadow out and proof out your obedience so they're not keying off of, anything. They're not saying, okay, you do something and then boom, I know there's another dog.
Yeah.
You would do that 100 times and you would use it twice, if you will. 50 times, whatever. Don't, take it with a grain of salt. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Lovely, okay, before we pop it back.
Cena,
and then we can just pop your dog out next because you're just right here.
I'll take.
Good. Good job.
I'm confident.
You are. You're going to do fine.
Okay.
I'm just going to grab these treats.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Questions?
I'll just put my keys on there. I don't think so. Okay. Not yet. I mean, we'll see. It's kind of hard when you're in the moment. I think as we go along.
Let's work then, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and heel around.
Okay, heel. Come.
Good.
Oh, sorry, I'm correcting. Yeah.
Give her a little bit more space there. Just be a little bit more mindful
heel.
of that, that's all.
Good girl. Come on in. Heel.
Oh, yeah. Cheers.
Heel.
Dankeschön.
Yes, good girl. Come on in. Heel. Yes, good girl. Heel. Ooh. Yes, good girl. Very good.
Or just slow down a little bit.
Okay.
You're edgy right now.
Yeah.
You're very robotic.
Okay.
Just be a little bit more fluid.
Heel.
Just nice and relaxed. She's with you, you're not with her.
Heel.
Cena.
Cena. Yes,
Yeah,
good girl.
Good decision.
Yeah, good
Well
girl.
done.
Heel.
Well done. Good.
Yes.
Good. And then stop and take a
Stop.
breather.
And sorry, what?
Breathe.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, that thing.
Stop the oxygen. And, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hang out there and just be nice and relaxed. Do you want to work just this way and back? Okay. You can
Should I
either do a
put
sit
her
or
in?
you can just relax. It's up to you. But I want you to just practice being calm.
Okay.
So this is all good behavior here with the tail wag. Good,
Yeah, she's
Cena. Yes. So reward her for that. Good.
Yes, Cena.
Good.
Good.
And just so we're practicing this. So a lot of times what people do is they sit, they machine gun a sit in,
And it makes her worse. So,
and it could make it worse.
you know, if you're approaching a dog and you
They're
see them
in a sit,
coming,
yeah.
some people go to say, leave it. Should you, or does that wind them up and make
It
them
could, yeah. Yeah, it could, because you're preemptively telling them they should have a problem with this person that's coming up, and they're
Right.
like, okay, this is what we do. So you
So
want
like
to
live in the
just
moment.
you're literally practicing just being calm,
Okay.
which is something that you don't often get a chance to do, right?
No.
With her, so right, exactly. So get on the other side, keep her on
Cena?
yeah, one side or the other. Behind me.
She's
She's like, oh yeah,
good girl.
treats.
Good girl.
This is
Yes.
great.
She says, I do react, honestly.
Yeah. All right. You're gonna line up with these guys and just put her into a sit, and you're just, yeah. Good.
Should I correct looking?
No. That because so you this yeah, the nose is going. We're curious, right? So we definitely don't want to correct that.
No.
That's the only opportunity for her to get better.
Right.
That's people like when we talk about balanced dog training. There's people who are too heavy-handed all the time. Correction. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If she looks at the dog and she doesn't react and you correct her for it, well, then you're reversing everything you just worked really hard on.
That makes
So if she looks at a dog and doesn't do anything, you can just do that.
Yeah.
Just nice and calm strokes. Really good job. Yeah. Yep, there you go.
I don't know what's going on with her right now.
It's great though.
Yeah, it's happy, yeah. Smaller dogs she's better with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Sit.
Good.
Okay.
Halfway. All right, just hang on to that. Really.
Easy heel. Heel.
The back leg went like,
Sorry, what?
the back leg sort of tensed. It's like she's a bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just released all that.
yeah. Good girl.
And then one more the other way, if you can. Good. Release your pressure. There.
Sit.
Cena, heel. Come on. I know. Heel. Yes, good girl.
Do you have any hand
No.
sanitizer?
Come on.
There's some on my bag and my.
Cena, heel. Good girl. No. Cena, come. Let's go. Good girl.
That was very good. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, good. I
Okay.
keep looking down, but that'll come. That'll come.
So give her a break.
Break. Good girl.
Good. Now, what I want you to do is just hang out right there. We're going to do one more heel this way and then back, and then you can have a break. And then I don't want you to do anything. I want you to just hang out right there.
Yeah, sure. Right.
Good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Good girl, Cena.
Yeah, good girl.
Very good.
The bum ribs.
Beautiful.
Oh.
All right, good job. You can have a seat. Okay. And then you can.
She,
The type of stuff I would be doing with her
Leave.
for sure.
okay. Good girl.
Good.
Yeah. We do this lots. Leave. Good girl. Sit. Cena. Go. Come on.
Cool.
Come on. Okay, leave. Go. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so now we're going to get Ren out and work a bit.
Come.
And I want you to just keep playing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then we'll do a leave, and then we'll do some healing.
Okay.
And again, like this is really great training to do if you have a dog that
Leave.
is a bit reactive. Just have them work, and then all of a sudden they smell like she already knows that dog's in the room.
Go.
She already smells that dog from here. She doesn't hear her or see her, so she doesn't care. You can come on in. And then let's heel from here back over, okay? And
Okay.
then you just
Heel.
nice and relax.
Hey! Is that still on? Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're good.
Come on, we'll try again.
So just watch that. Just you can use leash pressure to kind of combat that a bit.
'Kay.
Okay. Just
Right.
nice and relaxed. Good.
Heel.
There you go. There you go. Good.
Yes.
Good.
Good girl.
So as a handler there, you learned, right?
Yeah.
You said, okay, I'm not going to put it here. I'm going to put it here. Oh. Cheeky.
Leave it.
All right.
Got to
So-
think 10 steps ahead
It's okay.
without
it's okay.
doing that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So this is where you would, what I would do is just be neutral with it. I'd put it right here,
Yeah.
and you would walk, and you'd work more on the, hey, you can't have that until I release you more thing.
Yeah.
But the beauty of this is, guess what? She doesn't care about this dog. She cares more about the tug.
Yeah.
Go figure. It's really great. So you kind of incubate and work on that a bit.
Sure.
Good. And then just stop right there. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't do
Don't
that.
do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
use your leash. Because remember what I talked
Yeah.
about?
Sorry, it makes it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's natural. You go, whoop, nope.
Yeah.
That's natural. That's why I want to talk you out of doing that because it's a prey drive.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. You go like this. They're like, ooh, ooh. ooh.
Yeah.
Right. So
Have
you
it.
just keep it neutral. You go, no,
That's
and
it.
they go, oh, no, no, and you just do that.
Yeah.
And they go, yes. Oh, okay. So when you say it, I can do it. Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Yeah. Heel. Yes. Good girl.
And sometimes too, just a piece of advice when you're working
Heel.
with distractions in general, I typically will like say the dog's name a bit,
Yeah.
get him like engaged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heel. Cena. She
Good.
says, I want the treats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Come on.
A couple of the corrections really just kind of like whooped him into shape a bit. He's like, oh, okay, fine. This is. It just helps him think clear. He's like, that's not a good decision. That's not on the table anymore. Don't do that. And he's like, okay, well, this is what I'm doing then. And you're like, okay, yeah, good. That's good. And then we're paying him for that. Yes. Good. 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 It's okay. Good. 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 That was good. It's a better decision. Normally he would have reacted instead of said, I'm out of here. Better decision, right? Maybe it's suppression because he didn't want to get corrected, but it doesn't matter because it's a better decision, right? He's less, he's less stressed. Break him out that way. Good. We'll do e-collar stuff tomorrow if that's cool.
It's with bigger dogs and people with eye contact. It's like,
Yeah,
you know.
maybe we can match up Diesel tomorrow too.
Yeah. Well, I think I was saying that before. I think Diesel
Yeah,
and Bear as well. She would maybe
yeah,
struggle
yeah,
when she goes.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna work on it. Yeah, come on in whenever you're ready. I'm gonna give you the e-collar. Catch. Didn't even flinch. Good. Here you go. Nice. Good. Okay, I can break him out. It's good. Hold on to that prong and that slip. Just hold on to all of that for tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. We'll just do it tomorrow when I have a bit more time. But that was good. Do you know how to take it off? That's okay. Can somebody maybe over there help take it off? Yeah. If you just go over there, somebody's gonna help you. I promise. With the leave it. Oh, I'm sorry. You need this. You want to correct. I mean, it's instinctual for you to correct for the look because normally what happens after is going to be that. Yeah, it's okay. I was going to say in the future, just put the. Yep. Just slide it down just a bit. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and I know that it's like instinctual, but just give it a little bit to see where it's going to go. If she teeters and like makes like perfect example over here, where he was making really good decisions and he was more just like, I'm uncomfortable. Good, because normally when you're uncomfortable, you react, but you want to wait to see what happens. Yeah. Check your levels before you start using it. I wasn't sure.
I'm not making decisions for her.
Exactly. It's that's the learning curve. Like the dog reacts. You never learn. They react, you correct it, and then they think about reacting and they make a good decision, and then yeah, now we're talking. That's that learning curve. That's that like light bulb problem solving. I know. It's very hard. That's why I've been working with you and Fiona and Diesel yeah. Goose Rabba, yeah. Yeah, no, she's good. She's really good, right? Good. How do you feel? Okay, just keep working on your e-collar. So this would be nice placing and stuff. We're gonna work on that. And then, yeah. Do you have a slip still? You have what do you have? What did I get?
I
What'd you
put it
leave
back
off
over
with?
there, but I can bring the slip out.
I'm running out of slips.
It
here.
was this one.
Oh yeah, sure. Tomorrow we'll get into a little bit more recall, privately.
Does.
All right.
Okay. So she's generally very good. Like we can recall her off squirrels and that. Now only with the e-collar. Like before that, there was no way.
Yeah.
You know, it's just dangerous.
Yeah.
But now it's almost. It's 100%, I would say. But
It's not failed as
it's
yet in
never-
the last few weeks we've been using it.
yeah.
Okay.
And she's happy on it because she's off the harness and long run.
Sure.
So she's free and it's
Heck
just
yeah.
what a life.
So there.
Pardon?
Did you
Sorry,
see
yeah. It's because she's going to sniff and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't
Yeah.
want you to sniff, but I've braked her, haven't I?
Yeah.
So I
Right.
need to chill out. I'm a freak.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
He needs to kind of remind me because I
That's
actually
why
didn't.
Yeah, that's why I was. You just got to babysit her a bit.
Yeah.
No, but like that's what I'm talking about is like those little pops.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing it for no reason, like you're doing it for a reason. It's muscle memory.
Yeah.
You are doing it for a reason.
Yeah.
But again, like where's her break? Okay, so her break is this, and it's okay. Like if you're like, hey, her break is to keep her head up.
Okay.
She can't put her head down.
Okay.
Like that's okay. But
Yeah.
I don't think that is her break. I think
No.
her break is her break.
Yeah.
So when she's putting her head down and you're correcting her, you're not going to be able to really use that in the future. are
No.
you? No.
I need to just chill out. I think
Chill
I'm
out.
so used to trying to control everything so nothing goes wrong.
Yep.
I need to just look at the
Let her be a
weekend.
dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she's been amazing.
You worry so much
I do.
like something
Yeah.
could go wrong and that would be the worst thing in the world.
Right.
If if
Like
it
when
offends
you
someone or
yeah.
and I think maybe like
Or like when you said before, you said, come on then, and I didn't even know I did it, but then you said it, and I thought, oh my God, yeah, why did I do that? It's
Yeah.
so stupid.
No, it's not. It's just muscle memory. It's you gotta practice it. Like I told you, you were going to do it today, tomorrow, and the next day.
Yeah.
You really just have to practice it.
100%.
Yeah.
So she'll happily, we can recall her off a frisbee, but we try not to because that's her reward almost for
Yeah.
kind of coming
Yeah.
back. So she's good. So what we do, go on.
Yeah, I think we wanted to ask you what you think about our usage of the e-collar. So we use a beep as so we'll say come, and if she doesn't do it
Well,
immediately, it's come with a beep.
Let's
and
leave
then
it.
she tends to
Yeah.
come on that, and if then she ignores that, it's come with a
Yeah.
stimulation.
Yeah. So simply, you would do the same thing just with your voice. So right now you're doing 3 different steps, 3 different opportunities. 1,
Yeah.
2, like parents.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Which is not terrible, but you can easily replace that beep. The advantage to the beep is if your dog can't, the beep is on her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the advantage is it's there, and it's not a bad thing to do.
Okay.
But if you're asking me, well, how do I change the beep to just my voice? It would be the same exact thing. Come, and if you don't, correction. Right now you're saying come,
Warning.
beep, if you don't, then correction.
Yeah.
It's just an audible, it's the same thing. The beep represents get your butt over here, and if you don't, the next step is a correction.
So come with the beep, followed, or just come
You
followed by.
could for now, yeah, to help transfer it.
Okay, yeah. So what you're saying is the beep's almost an unnecessary middle
Yeah,
ground.
it is.
Okay.
Unless it's a really, really off-leash thing where she can't hear you, because then it's great. So what I would do is hybrid it. I would do come and beep. So
Yeah.
now it's just, so then when you say come, it's a conditioning thing.
Yeah.
What does this mean to me? So if you say come, beep, same time, come, beep, come, beep, come,
Right.
beep, come, beep, and then after if she didn't, you would correct her. And then the beep goes away, the come's still there, she'll transfer that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So.
And it's also the strength of stimulation because it's obviously a different unit and this kind of it's just a gauge that goes from there to there.
Yeah,
and there's
right,
like, there's
right,
like
right,
8 points. So
Right.
we tend to put it on like just after 1, which is probably at about 15% power. And I feel like when we get it right and she responds, she kind of reacts to it, like she's discomfort and then she comes straight back.
Yeah.
Is it all right that she's kind of doing
She's
that?
in a bit of discomfort, but
Yeah.
she really comes back.
She, I mean, it's like there's no question she comes back
Yeah,
at that
well,
point.
that's it. She's like, I'd rather not.
Yeah, like, no.
And then you give her that pressure, and she's like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
punishment. It's all it is. It's very simple.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yes, there's going to be some discomfort to that, because if you don't do that, she's simply not going to care.
Yeah,
It's
that's it.
consequences. If we didn't have consequences in our life, everyone would be running happy.
Well, this is it. So we felt, because we were like we've all spoken about in the UK, the e-collar, our trainer said, you know, put a bandana around it because you're going to get people coming over and giving you abuse. It's like that serious. And we couldn't take it anymore. There was a day we were out walking, she's in range of the long line and it slipped through her foot and she just went off after a dog. And we just couldn't take it. We needed that security of the e-collar. And
That's
it's
an advantage.
changed our lives.
She's so much happier the last
She is.
3 weeks.
She's having zoomies again, you know?
Yeah, because she gets to be a dog.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't have to freaking stress about it.
That's it.
The e-collar is an advantage. It's not a disadvantage. I
Yeah.
hate when people are like, oh, I don't want to have to use. I'm like, that is a privilege, man.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
100%.
that's a privilege. You have to be skilled enough to use that
Yeah.
e-collar.
And
if you're not skilled,
you can abuse any equipment. Like
Sure.
you can hang a dog with a leash
Yeah.
trying to correct
yeah,
it, you know,
it's all
so
about how you do it. Just
Yeah.
lack thereof.
yeah.
It's lack thereof education. That's why everybody's like, oh, you know, I don't use that. I'm like, that's because you just don't know how.
Yeah.
That just tells me that you don't know how. It's illegal here. Well, that means you don't. That's not good.
No.
It's illegal here. Well, that means that nobody in your country knows how to can use it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's not good. That's not something to brag about.
No.
We don't use tools. That's a disadvantage to the dog.
Her life has drastically improved, and there's some dogs
100%.
that, you know, I kind of work with outside that they'd be dead now if we weren't using any
100%.
collar.
Yeah,
So
no doubt. It's just making sure you do it right. That's
yeah,
all.
and letting it wash off your backs, whatever anyone else says about it.
Yeah,
That's
you
quite
can't.
hard.
Yeah, he's right. Somebody comes over and says, "How dare you give your dog a better life?"
Yeah, I know. It is
You
that.
just walk away. That's
Yeah.
it.
Just walk off.
That's it. What are you gonna do?
Someone came over and screamed at me because we were using a long line. They said that's so cruel. You shouldn't have a dog, like all that. And I was thinking, it's a long line,
But
man.
you gotta.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
And you gotta just let the crazy roll.
yeah.
You can't. There's no communication or conversation with somebody who thinks like
No.
that, right?
Like you said, walk off.
Yeah. If they think that having your dog on a long line and letting them roam around while you have the long line is abuse, then why would you even talk to that person?
Yeah, I know.
That's not a conversation I'm willing to even
Go to.
think about.
Yeah.
You know?
Should we just do some
Yeah, let's
play
do
with
it.
her?
Let's
And
do it.
right. Okay, you got the frisbee.
Do like frisbee to recall.
Yeah. Come on in. Let's go. Let's go. Have you got the collar? Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna play a little frisbee, so make sure you hang on to your dogs.
Let's go. Come on. Go. Don't jump on me. Leave it. Ready. Sit. Leave it. Go.
Nice.
We'll do recall mid-chase next time.
Yeah, I would do one more chase and then another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cena, come. Come.
Yeah.
Oi. Not to Dad. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would change that up a bit.
Change it what, sorry?
He's recalling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you're
One person, yeah.
capturing.
Right, fine.
So one of you do it.
Yeah.
Because what you just did is he recalled and then she started coming to him and you
And
were
I
like,
corrected. I'm a freak.
No, don't do that. It doesn't make any sense. So let this one go and then the next one.
Okay.
But what I would do is yeah, let's just see how it goes.
And she does this. She does a lot of that kind of
Excited, yeah. It's just
Lunge.
a play thing.
So should we recall her off? Play.
Do you want to do it?
You can. She can do it. I'm
Have
scared.
you done it before?
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Well done. Well
That
done.
would
well done.
never
well done. Well
have-
done. Well done. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
So we send her back to get it. Is that okay?
Yes, that's
Because
the
some
reward.
people
Yes,
go.
Yes. Even when she comes back and she's halfway to you, you could even say break and then send her back.
Right, yeah. Because we were doing it, you know, to place. So we were sending her to place and then recalling her off back to frisbee and like
Yeah.
kind of trying to
Yeah.
create that excitement.
That's right. And that's brilliant. That's what you want to do for sure.
So
'Cause it creates that ultimate control because the frisbee is going to be
Yeah.
equally, distracting as like a squirrel or something.
Yeah,
So
oh
it's
God,
really good.
yeah.
You have your cake and eat it too.
yeah, give her another run maybe, just let her have it.
Chuffed.
Well happy.
Well, happy. Is that a very
It's like maybe a more northern thing, I think, because
Mm.
I'm up there.
well happy? So in context, you would say, "I'm well happy with this."
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love that.
Is that because some people actually
It's
shouldn't?
just play. No, it's
Yeah,
just play.
okay.
It's just like, hey man, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool, isn't
Body
it?
check.
Yeah,
She-
exactly. It's just a
John
rough play,
Cena,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
John.
Yeah. Just-
She took me off my feet once doing that. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. She loves the run.
I love it.
She'll do flips as well, like we can throw it to each other and she'll flip in the air and...
Yeah, I'm just going to tell these guys what we're doing. So
Yeah.
Let's do a call off this time. Let me just explain it a bit.
Should we do it like across the way?
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, so
Cena,
really quick, what we're doing over here...
You're going to do it though.
And we're doing it over here so we don't get the other dogs riled up. But we're doing, the Frisbee is obviously a big distraction. And we're calling her off the Frisbee midway with the e-collar. And so we're using that reinforcement to say, hey, come back. Which is the biggest distraction for most dogs, and that's the beauty of the remote collar, is as she's running after the Frisbee, we can halfway through say, come back, and she goes, fine. She comes back, and then we send her back out. So that's what we're gonna try here. She's been doing okay with it, but of course now that you guys are watching, she won't, but we'll see.
Honestly, on came this music, and he's like, oh, that's who our dog's named after. I was like...
Leave it. Cena, come.
Call off, good.
Now, again.
Oh, sneaky, cheeky.
You needed... did you
Right,
not shock
so-
her?
No.
Oh, I'd have shocked her.
If you applied the pressure again, because she started to turn and the pressure might have shut off and she went right back.
I didn't stimulate.
Oh, you
Leave
just did
it.
beep. So enforce it this time. So that was just without the stimulation there. And you saw... No, stim. Yeah.
Leave it. Come.
Well done.
All the way. Come on.
See that little look back? You guys? That's just
Yes,
what you
says
would
the
say
girl.
cheeky.
Go,
That's
go,
the
go, go,
definition
go.
of that. Like, come. Yeah, and the reward is immediately sending them back out. Right, exactly. Nope, stim.
That's the single time.
Yeah. So that's really good. Really good. Sending her completely out off. She could go off leash. We're just not doing it because of everything here, but she could. And it's just
Leave it.
makes their life so much better.
Oh, look,
There you
Emma,
go.
buzzer.
Nice job.
Come.
That's what the e-collar should look like at the end.
Give her a little nick.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Give me a
You
kiss.
could recall
Give
your
me a kiss.
dog off of anything.
Go on then, go.
That's why they call her John Cena. Or Cena. Okay, cool. You guys good on that?
Yeah, we'll keep going. Yeah. So prior to Tom, we were actually, I would say, duped by a positive-only reinforcement trainer. So we went to her about reactivity, and she took us on and just kind of was just all about the treats and that, and didn't really address the reactivity at all. And then I moved to another trainer who was more balanced, who is balanced, and then got interested in that, and I've started to kind of train myself in areas. And through that and the research and the courses I was doing, I found Tom's videos, which I just think are by far the best there is on YouTube in terms of how he explains why he's doing what he's doing and why he's using the equipment he's using and why it's so important. And it's condensed down into a nice chunk as well, so it's really easy to digest, and it's just so much common sense involved, which I think is so important.
Yeah, good. I think it's clarified a few things, even like simple, more basic things that you can easily overlook, like the basics that we kind of have in place, but Tom's kind of pointed out you actually need to sharpen up some of those basics that are the building blocks for the reactivity and avoiding the reactivity. So it's helped identify basics that we need to sharpen up.
That are so easy to just kind of go, yeah, Cena can do that, but actually, can she do it?
Yeah,
and you
it's
can't.
not 100%,
No.
and it needs to be.
And then also, prior to this, obviously, we use the e-collar with Cena. Not obviously, but we use the e-collar with Cena for recall mainly, and we were a bit kind of scared to say we used it, but I'm going to go away from this, and in the nicest way, not shoving it down people's throats or anything, but Tom's given us the confidence to be like, no, we use the e-collar and it is humane and this is why we do it. And we wouldn't seek out arguments or anything, but not to shy away and feel like we cannot say that we do it. Because like I said about his videos, they're just such common sense, and he gives you such a good language to use for yourself, you know? Yeah.